Okay, Elizabeth, if you don't mind, just tell us a little bit about your problem and why you chose physiotherapy and acupuncture.
Yeah. I was in a car accident in 2011 in May. Had physio with the NHS for several months, but didn't get anywhere with that and was referred back to the GP. With a specialist referral from the doctor, advised physio again. Didn't have much hope for physio as it hadn't worked previously, but I did come and I'd had physio now for 7 months, and then acupuncture for about 6 weeks. So I have felt a difference. So the physio was working, that was hands-on work, but then the acupuncture is just the...
So what was the difference that you got here? Because that's a lot of... People do have that perception that they've tried physio somewhere and they kind of tar everybody with the same brush and they think that all physios are the same. What was the difference that you found from the place you were originally to here?
There wasn't much hands-on work that I had previously in physio, and it was a lot of heat packs and ultrasounds on my shoulder. That was the shoulder injury that I had. But then when I came here, it was very much hands-on work and pinpointed straight away the area of where I was in pain. And really, even though I thought I was in pain for with my shoulder, it was like one big muscle that I had to work on, which was really solid. And then they just did that over several months.
So when you say hands-on, that was...
Like, it's not massaging, but it's like massaging.
Yeah, not a hotel-style massage, a bit nicer. Deeper, a little bit deeper.
A bit deeper. Not particularly painful, but it was... it did get to the point of where I needed it to be.
And you've had acupuncture as well. How has that worked for you?
Yeah, the physio I had for like several months, but then I always felt that it was about 80% better, and then I'd go back over and end up coming back. With the acupuncture, I feel like I've got more than the 80%, and that's maybe like 100% better. But it's been fine, and it's worked. It's got to that extra point that I think I needed to be at.
So you must have been in a bad way then, to start with.
Yeah, pretty bad way. So it'd been 2011, my first accident, and then I actually didn't start coming to physio till November 2012.
Yeah.
So by that point, the muscle was extremely tight.
Yeah.
And needed a lot of work doing on it.
And what would you, if you were going to, let's say, talk to a friend about acupuncture, how would you describe it? Not necessarily in terms of the benefits, just how would you explain what it feels like, what the needles going in feel like? Because people are curious, and there's probably somebody will be watching this who will be thinking, what does it feel like? And everyone's sort of obsessed with how big the needles are and things like that. So just clarify what your perception of acupuncture was at the start before you had it to then actually getting it.
I hadn't known anyone who'd had acupuncture for pain or anything like what I'd had. I'd spoken to the physio beforehand, lots of reassurance.
Can I ask you, were you sceptical about it?
Very sceptical. Okay. But I was initially sceptical about the physio in the first place.
Okay.
Just because of the experience that I'd had. Then I came to physio and actually I was never getting past 8% of improvement.
Yeah.
And it was just something else to try just to get that extra 20% for my shoulder to recover. So I was sceptical, didn't really know much about it, but the only tiny needles that go in, and I didn't really feel them, to be honest. There was only one tight muscle that I've got which I felt it go in, but it's not painful.
Yeah. And
the needles are very, very thin.
How do you feel after?
I feel fine. More like a relief from around my shoulder blade and my neck where I do have the acupuncture. And then on one time, I think on the other side, I had a bit more pain, and so they just put a needle in there. But it did work.
Do you feel any benefits straight away, or is it always, if you were kind of going to describe how quickly it works, does it feel better straight away, or is it after 1 or 2 visits? Or
the first one that I've had 6, and the first one that I had, I felt benefits straight away, and the second and third I did. I had a couple of weeks where it didn't really feel any different, but again it came back the next week, and then I've had it's improved since then. I'm trying to think.
So it's not something that you can just get once. It's very unlikely it would be something that
it's like a course, yeah. So
so you kind of got to throw yourself into it to get to the benefits.
Yeah,
and is it something that you would use ongoing, progressively, or are you hoping to sort of find another plan to...
No, it seems to have worked. So the physio itself worked for a length of time, and then the acupuncture has worked for the next step to get me to like 100% better.
So if we were going to sum your situation up, you'd had a long history. So you'd had a couple of years worth of problems.
Yeah.
Didn't really get the help that you needed at the start, but then found physio, hands-on style physio that we do here helpful.
Yeah.
And that got you to about 80%. So that sort of tackled that.
Yeah.
And then you used acupuncture to top up
For
the last
rest of
20%,
it, yeah.
and that's really helped. And I think that's one of the big benefits that we find by being physio and acupuncture trainers. You can do the exercises, you can do the massage, and the physio for the hands-on massages and stuff. What about exercises?
I had exercises right from the beginning and just continued with the same. The exercises I got in stages, so when I'd was improved in so much, then I got different exercises, and just gradually just increased the exercises to increase the strength in my back and my neck and my shoulder.
Yeah.
And they've worked. You have to do them daily.
What about, how did it affect you at work? Your injuries, you're a nurse, aren't you? Is that right?
Yeah. Not being able to do the full duties at work just because of the severe pain in my shoulder. Initially when I first came to physio, for a few months after that, but now it's there is a massive improvement in my shoulder. And yeah.
How would you describe the whole experience of coming here?
Oh, it's been over a year and I'm still
So
coming.
you've got to know everybody.
Yeah, and it's been great. I've definitely improved in my shoulder, and to have the strength in my shoulder back and to do the things that I couldn't do, walking the dogs and sometimes driving the car, just basic things that I struggled with, I'm able to do now.
So you're happy?
Yeah.
Good.